I'm on my way to Donington Park for the opening weekend of the 2026 British Touring Car season. I've got my season media pass sorted for the year, but you'll notice something a bit different during the day. And I've just had my second breakfast, but that's not unusual. But I won't be trackside today, no media bit. I've got to be honest, I'm on the naughty step at a couple of tracks, and for those circuits I'll have to shoot from the public areas, which has brought up an interesting conundrum. I mean, we've still got pit lane and grid access, so there'll be plenty of shots there, but the race shots will be from public places. So it got me thinking about what I can talk about for this opening round vlog. Now, today I'm being humbled. I haven't shot anything public side since lockdown. I went to one clubby where I took the kids at Donington Park, where the track is great for public shooting. Because the thing about shooting in the UK away from stuff like Formula 1 is that as a trackside photographer, you're hardly ever behind the fences. So if you ever watch the likes of Jamie Price and Mark Urban travel in the world with F1, WEC and the like, they often have to shoot through a fence or through photo holes. Like when we get to Silverstone over here for touring cars, we're in front of those photo holes. And let's face it, a TCR machine isn't quite as fast as an F1 car. I'm not sure what the F1 rules are in terms of trackside, but if you remember the Hamilton-Verstappen accident at Copse, Max went into the tyre barriers at some speed. I've stood on that wall, or at that wall, for touring cars in Formula 4, and they stump the gravel before they get there. Different rules, different levels of liability, but we'll get to that later. It's sunny here. As you say, this is a totally different skill set from this side of the French Thought, and it's going to be a challenge, because Donington's one of those tracks where, when I'm trackside, I've always had a fence behind us, and you kind of forget how much of a pain fences are. I've chatted with a couple of friends about where they shoot at Donington from public side to try and remember the good spots. Already worked out that I want to be at Copse for race one, because the position of the sun towards the cars should work in my favour. I'll find a dark spot in the fence, I don't know whether they're still around anymore, but you know, just because you want to stop the light reflection there. I'm going to use my big lens of that 600mm. Should see past the fence with focus lock set to 10 metres. And there's a few other places I want to shoot. Got to be honest, I never take notice of the sun position when I'm trackside, but here, with that many fences, it has to be a consideration. I usually don't head up this way, even though Copse and McLean's one of my favourite trackside areas. That's what happens when you have the privilege of working trackside. You kind of, how would you put it? It's easy to become complacent. It's you end up going to easy corners, falling into taking the same stock shots every year. I'm actually kind of relishing it in a way. It's a challenge. So yes, it's this way. I do remember my way. So we're going to go through that, and by the end of the day, I guess I'll be angry with myself for knocking back the chance to be trackside at Goodwood for the Super Tourers. But hey ho, you know, it's a longer drive. Anyway, I'm going to try and get some support race shots to get ready for race one of the Btcc. Let's see how that turns out. See you're at Donington without saying you're at Donington, eh? Well, that was interesting. Yeah, turns out I can still shoot through events. I think I've got some shots that I'm happy with. We'll have a look on the computer right now. was quite interesting. It was nice, seeing Danny, who's a lovely good mate of mine, who was down there shooting. So I worked from Coppice along to McLean. And I think of all the tracks in the corner, what I learned, all the tracks on the circuit, sorry. I think the one thing that I learned is that those corners are ones where, I mean, I took 3,000 photos through that touring car race, and I got more usable ones than I normally would. Not as much of a variety, a lot more head-on shots. I did get some panning, as you'll see. But I think of the corners on the circuit with a 600mm lens, and I'm using a crop camera, so it's 900mm equivalent. I think being trackside and shooting through the fence, not much of a difference really, apart from along that strip between Coppice and McLean's, you could have got a few more shots, clearer shots. But here's some of the photos again. Here's some with the where you could see the fence. I'm going to have a wander down to, I think, the old hairpin for race 2. It's actually looking like it could rain. If you've never watched a video on this channel before, or only a recent convert, and there's been a lot of you actually, we've actually been publishing Touring Car magazine since 2019. I am a journalist first, a photographer second, which if you watch this regularly, you'll be sick of hearing me say. So my main job today is actually interviewing drivers for the magazine. And when I'm shooting, I'm having to read the race as a story too, but we'll not dive into that in this video. And we've actually just had our biggest issue ever. A huge interviewer, Jason Plato, for the cover story was a sellout. After 2 bloody print runs, it was that big. And yes, we just covered touring car racing, and it's from all around the world, including a lot of history. So look out for the next issue. Sorry, look, a bit overcast now, isn't it? Anyway, just wanted to see. One thing I often complain about with the public side photography is, you got to keep moving and don't hog, because I mean, if you're in a position where moving's difficult, don't think I'm having a go. That's different. I've been there myself with illness in the past, but sometimes you get people who sit in one prime spot all day for no other reason than spitefulness. Nobody wants your album of the same photo but different cars. Just move it on. Is that another plane? Yes, it's another plane. But one of the things that you have an advantage with Trackside is mobility. For a Btcc race, there's loads of corners where you can move and get a different angle every lap. I mean, Croft, for example, start at turn 1 for the start of a race, get around to the chicane for the end of it. Druids at Brands, for a 25-minute race, you don't stop. Here, like if you start inside turn 1 for the start of the race, you can hurry along the pit straight to the chicane. You can get plenty of decent shots. That's not a trackside luxury sometimes, from what I remember, fat lad running. But in terms of shooting through the fence, if you keep moving, sometimes you've got to fight through people and other photographers. I've just found that down at the old hairpin. And these are sprint races, so if you've got 2 decent spots at a 10-minute walk between each other, it's not really worth going from one to the other. But getting different spots for different races, I think, is a must, even if you only stay in one spot for that race. Because as an editor, when I look at photographers' work that I get, you need variety. Anyway, I've just been down the old hairpin. Things have changed. I remember standing on Starkey's Bridge at the start of the first FIA GT Championship race there with a full 40 odd car field back in 97. The Merc CLK GTR, McLaren long tail, Porsche 911 GT1, the insane Pianos. But you're not allowed on the bridge now, but you can still get decent shots from high on the bank with the fence. I couldn't be bothered to go up the top, so I stayed down at the fence. In the past I've shot with a 400mm lens there, got some good shots, but often they get interference, and well, this is what I got. sides of Redgate. It's a big fight place for panning, and there's no fence, so picking the right time of day. You're not shooting in the sun, which I'm going to do, but there's clouds there. You can get some crackers, but again, when you've been spoiled with trackside access, it becomes limiting. So let's see what we can do here. Oh yeah, there's lots of people. Good to get back on the grid there for the final races that come into the grid. Got some shots there that probably shouldn't be best music, because I've got to admit it's been a challenge. It can be done, and lots of people do it. I am out of practice, but I've got me 7,000 photos of the Btcc taken. I've got me interviews done there with Sutton and Ingram and Doble and a couple others, which will be in the race reports in the magazine, of course. So the job's done. Job's a good one. What's that? Bloody fly. Bugger. But anyway, if you're getting this far, like, comment, subscribe. It would help a bit. Like I say, it's been a challenge, if I'm honest. I'm on the naughty step for a while, and that's okay, because it's made us appreciate what I'm missing. And to be honest, I can't wait for TCR UK at Croft in a couple of weeks. Well, I'll be trackside again. I think I did okay shooting through fences, grabbing stuff from a few different places, but I guess being bolshy and mouthy taught me a lesson, so don't drop things on your own shoes. I've heard many public side photographers say things about pros across the years, and I've heard pros say things about the public. My problem is I just call everyone. If I didn't, I'd have made you be trackside, so I'm working on that. But no, being serious, Donington has been hard work compared to many other racetracks. For me, it's been so long since I shot public side that I've forgot how much of a pain the fences are, and I've been going on and on about them. But you know, Thruxton, Croft Outen Park, Knockhill, Snetton are far less restrictive. Brands and Silverstone more so. I've refound, well, not refound, but I've you know, the respect's still there for people who shoot races public side. It's limited. It can be a struggle, but anyway, thanks for watching. I've got a TCR vlog from Brands coming soon. It might be out before this, I don't know yet. And then, like some trackside across for TCR UK again, so there'll be more to talk about there. And after that, we'll see. Because I'm not driving 5.5 hours down to Brands to shoot from through fences, you know. But anyway, keep clicking, or some other cliched photo-based sign-off, and it's time to head home via McDonald's, because this lad needs some sustenance. Ta-ta!